Gail Johnson. I'm many things, the adopted child of well-meaning parents, a proud mother, and a very stubborn businesswoman. But my story can't compare to the story of the people who have touched my life. I grew up as the adopted child of white South Africans in the time of apartheid. I was shuffled through boarding schools in different cities when I was a child, and I had no say in my life. I was miserable because of it. I became pregnant in my early 20s with my son, and because of my skin color, I was not doomed to a life of poverty. I met another man, married him, and had a daughter. My husband and I had a comfortable life by South African standards, a pool, a maid, living in a gated home, but I am complicated, and I know it now just like I knew it then. My husband was a good man and a good father, but he couldn't understand me. Not even I could understand me. Something was missing. The world around me was changing, and unlike my husband and friends, I couldn't pretend not to notice. Everything that had happened to me as a child and young woman was affecting the way I saw the world now. I knew what it was to have my needs tossed aside by others and not to matter. One day I was meeting a friend for lunch, and she asked if we could see her brother first. He was ill, and she had a few things to bring him. We stayed for several hours with this man, who was abandoned by his family for being homosexual, left alone to die of AIDS. These brief few hours changed the course of my life. I educated myself about HIV and became involved in a home to care for HIV-positive men. During this time, I met the boy who would not only change my world, but the entire world. Nkosi was an HIV-positive toddler whose mother could not care for him. At the time he came to us, HIV-positive children did not live past 4 years old. Given his health when he came to the shelter, he would follow the same path as thousands of other HIV-positive children before him. I brought him home with me on the weekends so he could be around my children and pets and have a change of scenery. The shelter lacked money and eventually was forced to close. Nkosi returned to his mother briefly, but she, being ill with AIDS, could not care for him. She asked if I could keep him, and so I did. Nkosi was a very sick little boy with a constant respiratory infection. I researched all I could, and there was little information on how to help children with HIV. I settled on laughter, and my family did everything we could do to make him laugh. He flourished. I wanted him to be around other children his age, and tried to enroll him in a daycare, but they wouldn't accept him because of his HIV-positive status. He continued to improve and grow with the love and care of his new family. One day, he said he was tired of being home all the time. He wanted to go to school like all the other children his age. I didn't even know if it was possible, but I told him of course he would go to school. Initially, there was little problem. The principal approved it, but the other teachers and parents expressed concern. Some were polite and some were not. The media became involved. Nkosi's story became a local, national, then international issue. Because of our little boy's funny blood, he was perceived as different. It led to question the rights of AIDS victims. Eventually, Nkosi was not only able to attend school, but he was able to share his story with the world. He told many famous people his story, and he changed the world's perception of AIDS. Donations came in, and we opened Nkosi's Haven, a home for mothers and children with HIV. My beloved little boy defied all medical expertise when he outlived every other child known to have HIV at the time. He traveled, was interviewed countless times, and he told all that would listen, we are all the same, that an HIV patient were as human as anyone else, that they could live normal lives, that their lives mattered as much as all other lives. When the International AIDS Conference was held in South Africa, my brave little boy stood up and spoke to the thunderous applause of thousands. He was the subject of a book written by Jim Wooten, and though he tragically died of AIDS when he was 12, he is still telling the story today, and his words have echoed across continents and through decades. We are all the same. We are not different from one another.